Hey guys, thanks so much for coming back and joining us on our California vacation. And this day we headed off to SeaWorld. It was a really busy day, but luckily we got there early. We were one of the first cars in line, so we got to the front of the line. But if you look back, there was tons of people here this day. We're at SeaWorld today. We just got in. We're one of the first people in, and here we go. SeaWorld! Right when you head into the park, there's those little fish petting tanks, I guess you would call them, and the kids really enjoyed that the last time they were here, so they beelined it straight for those tanks and they wanted to play with all the little fish, especially those feeder fish that kind of eat the dead skin cells off your hands. They really enjoyed that and spent a lot of time at that pool playing with all the fish. The kids weren't so much interested in the sharks and the horseshoe crabs, but they were definitely into the fish. And during this time we were here, it was a Mardi Gras festival going on for the entire month, so that's why it was a little bit more crowded than it usually was. Now, fortunately for us, the kids did not want to go on any rides. All they wanted to see were the animals, so we headed straight for the animal enclosures, and a lot of people go there for the rides, so it was actually not that busy when we went to see the animals. The first place we went was to see the sharks, and the kids really enjoyed that. The sharks were one of the highlight animals they enjoyed seeing at Sea Life Park. And they really loved going into that underground area where it has the shark glass dome, and so they were just having a kick walking through that. It was a little shorter than they had anticipated. I guess they were expecting a longer walk, but they still enjoyed that, and they were looking in on all the different sharks there, especially the really big one. And later on, when we tried to come back to this area, unfortunately, it was so busy this day that there was a line going out of the shark enclosure area, so there was no way we could revisit this place twice. So I kind of wished we had gone through this area in the morning 2 or 3 times so they could get their fill of it, but yeah, unfortunately we only got to go through it once.
Oh no! I'm sorry, turtle. Stop. It's okay, turtle. You'll be alright.
Declan! Up goes the Declan. That's so cute.
Head?
Yeah.
They don't slide in their belly. They slide in their belly.
Oh yeah? They really enjoyed watching the penguins swim and play in this area, but they really wanted to go into the wild Arctic. I remembered this place because it had the ice wall, so I was hoping that they still had that.
But also, we have this behavior.
Wow, hungry daddy?
Yeah, which one are you?
Whoa, icy wall. And when we got to the walrus, it was just so cool. They're just such big animals, and they were coming right up to the glass and just kind of, waving high and looking at all the people behind the glass. So the kids got a nice up close look at what a walrus looks like.
He's like he's dancing.
He's so big. He's waving high. Oh,
I know, he's definitely trained.
look at that.
There's another one.
We decided to head over to the dolphin show, and it was the first show of the day, and it was really hot that day. Like the sun, it was cool, but the sun was blaring, so I decided to sit further down in the splash zone area because it was the only shady part of the arena, and the kids were kind of up top for a while, but they decided to join me, but they were scared of getting splashed, and I was too. But I had a windbreaker that's waterproof, so I just put that in front of Declan, and we did not get too badly splashed. And so I only got a few bits of footage of the dolphins jumping before I decided to put the camera away because I didn't want it to get wet. But we did get really wet. after the show, I beelined it and I headed to the Calypso smokehouse, which was right next to the dolphin area, because I wanted to make sure I got in line so we could get something to eat. And luckily I did, because we did get the all-day eating pass. Not all the restaurants were open. One was closed for renovation. When I got in this line, I was really glad I did, because the line was just out the door, out into the walkways. It was really bad because it was just so busy. There were so many people. At least we got to eat something early on. And we stopped over to look at the killer whale. Couldn't really see him, and the kids weren't that interested in it. And we thought we'd just go see the show later, but unfortunately, we landed up not doing that. The line was going all the way out into the walkway. It was just a madhouse.
It's not a whale, it's a dolphin.
Yes, it is.
It's not a dolphin. Nope, it's a humpback whale.
Is that a humpback whale? Silly boy.
So with so many people everywhere walking around in line for things, we just kind of decided to not really go into many exhibits unless the lines were like kind of short. And we revisited the front area where the kids could play with the fish, and also just got some ice cream. And this was the first time the kids tried Dippin' Dots, so they had a really fun time eating that. And then after that, we headed over to the Sesame Street area, because the last time we were here, it was being built. So obviously we couldn't see it. And so this is the first time we were experiencing it. And it was pretty cute. That area had a lot of interactive things, but like most of the area in Sea Life Park, a lot of the things were closed because it's refurbished season. And while the kids were on another ride, I stood in the line for this air bounce area for Declan, run around and get some energy burnt out of him. And he did, actually. It was like his favorite thing out of this whole Sea Life Park. And it seems like the Sesame Street area was more his speed. He was having fun just exploring and not really having to stand in any lines. So he was having a lot of fun here. And we found the flamingo enclosure later on. And just a note to you parents, it's really stinky, so beware. And they don't have those feeder boxes where you could just put the coins in or whatever and feed them. They only have special feeding times. That's like a pay to play kind of thing. So we didn't get to feed the flamingos. And then after that, we headed over to the water ride area, because I figured since they had so much fun at Knott's Berry, they would enjoy this ride. The line was so long. It didn't look long because it looked empty when you walked in, but once you got further into the line queue, oh my god, it was just crazy.
Hi, are you having fun?
Yeah, and when you get back on mother, I'll put a queen.
Oh, I love you. What's your best thing that you happened on this trip? Look, another empty one! What the heck?
Yeah, why are they wasting?
Why are they wasting the boats?
I don't know.
What was your favorite thing so far?
The cup ride.
The cup ride?
Actually, the rocket one.
The rocket ship ride? Oh!
I love you, Mommy.
I love you.
Mommy, next time you have to go on the doctor's house with fun.
Alright.
Almost missed them. We were waiting there for so long that we thought the next one was going to be empty again, but it was happened to be them, so I got a glimpse of them. And for such a short little ride, they waited over an hour, I think, in this line. So that did not make the kids happy, and they did not want to do that again. This was towards the end of the day, so it was getting a little cold. The sun was setting, the wind was picking up, and so they were freezing. And they had these drying boxes where you could pay $6. Oh my god, $6 to stand in there to kind of get blow dried off. And it wasn't even that warm. It didn't dry them off completely. It didn't do much, but it made them feel better that they weren't as wet as they were when they got off the
So you
ride.
really all wet?
Only my butt is wet. My butt is always
Why are you all wet?
wet. We sat in a wet seat.
You sat in the wet seat?
And it was a giant waterfall.
Yeah, everybody got wet from the waterfall?
Yes, it was like pouring, and then we went in, and boom.
So there was no avoiding it.
No.
Everyone got wet.
You have to wear a jacket.
Oh, I see.
Those like see-through waterproof raincoats.
Ah, the ponchos, yeah?
Yes, and then we would have been.
Ah, I see.
We decided to stand in the line for dinner. And this restaurant we stood in, this line had been so long the entire day. The line was going on all the way into the walkway and then the cross walkway. It was a madhouse. And so luckily at that time of the night, I think most people had gone home, so it was a little slower, but still a pretty long line. And so we actually got to have some dinner. If you're gonna do the all-day eating pass, I don't recommend it on a really busy day because you won't even get your money's worth out of it. But if it's on a slow day, definitely consider the all-day eating pass. It was a really good deal. You can eat every 90 minutes, or that's a pretty good deal.
It is cold in there. That's why there's nobody here petting the stingrays.
Oh my. Why? See a mosquito?
No, he's
Can we go to the house now? Can we go to the house now?
And the park closed a little bit later, so we got to see the park in the evening time, so that was pretty cool. And we went back to the Sesame Street area because Declan wanted to do the bouncy house again. And Grayson insisted on playing this water gun game. He begged us, so finally we gave in. It cost us $5, but you know, whatever. He had fun.
It's winner number 2!
And we went back on that bouncy house ride again. Declan really enjoyed that. Got another couple bounces out of that before we left for the evening because there was barely any line at this point, so he could just kind of walk on every other time.
Whoa!
And that was our SeaWorld day on our California vacation. We didn't do too much because of the crowds. It was a really bad day to go, but the kids still had some fun. And Declan is frowning in this picture because he kind of fell climbing up the rocks. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you on the next one. Bye!